Hello there, another week has passed and I'm delighted to see you all again on Culture Mosaic. As always, we give you the latest updates on the culture scene here in Vietnam. Now in today's show, we'll get to know a symbolic type of plant of the Thai ethnic people and talk to a German choreographer who has collaborated with Vietnamese dancers to bring European and Asian contemporary arts together. And last but not least, we'll visit the northern mountainous town of Sapa, where the first ever Sapa Art Festival is being held. Enjoy! Discover Thai people's symbols. German choreographer brings contemporary dance to Vietnamese artists. And Sapa Art Festival connects international and local artists. We're now starting off with the most outstanding events that stirred up the local culture scene over the last week. Now, as part of the Amsterdam Festival Vietnam Days in the Netherlands 2014, an exhibition titled Vietnamese Space was recently opened. The exhibition introduces to local people images of Vietnam, a new, peaceful and developing country. Coming to the exhibition, local people have a chance to learn more about the cultural identities of Vietnam, as well as the variety of Vietnamese cuisine. The exhibition also features different famous landscapes of Vietnam, such as Hạ Long Bay, Phong Nha Cave, or Mỹ Sơn Holy Land. Vietnamese Space is expected to help introduce images of the country to local people and international friends in the Dutch capital city. The world's largest tourism website, TripAdvisor, has recently ranked the Vietnam Museum of Ethnology the fourth among the top 25 most attractive museums in Asia for 2014 and the best in Vietnam. In 2013, the museum was also ranked as excellent by TripAdvisor. The results are based on tourist ratings, and a destination has to acquire at least 4 out of 5 stars for every vote to be recognized as an attractive tourism site. A great number of international tourists have left positive comments about the museum on TripAdvisor, most of whom agreed that the museum is a must-see attraction for any tour around Hanoi. Tây Phương Pagoda in Hanoi's Thạch Thất district is home to many valuable statues of Buddha, which highlights the beautiful and meticulous art of Vietnamese sculpture. As well as being famous for its Buddha statues, the pagoda has a 3 parallel building design rarely seen in the northern region. Let's explore more about the value of this pagoda in the following report.
Located on Tây Phương Mountain, the pagoda is filled with 18 statues of Arhat and 14 of Buddha, which create a tranquil atmosphere for visitors. With various positions and facial expressions on displays, these Arhat statues carry Buddhist philosophy and the folk arts of the people of the Doi region. 32 statues in this pagoda have been submitted for recognition as national treasures.
Giá trị của cái 18 pho tượng La Hán này là ở cái chỗ nghệ thuật tạo tác quá đẹp, quá sinh động, mà thậm chí đạt đến mức cổ điển của nghệ thuật điêu khắc.
Nó để lại những cái dấu ấn cho tất cả tín đồ Phật tử bốn phương sau khi đến chùa Tây Phương làm lễ, đồng thời cũng mang lại được về tâm linh, rồi cũng như là các tổ La Hán nổi tiếng của chùa Tây Phương đây.
The Buddha Statue Museum has 3 parallel buildings named Chùa Hạ, Lower Pagoda, Chùa Chung, Middle Pagoda, and Chùa Thượng, Upper Pagoda. With simple red bricks and round windows, the whole complex provides a peaceful Buddhist atmosphere. In terms of carving, the designs range from dragons and peacocks to flowers and leaves. Built in 1632, the pagoda has been renovated many times.
Tôi về đến là lần đầu tiên và được nghe rất là nhiều người nói ở đây rất là linh thiêng, và khi đến đây thì được xem các tượng Phật La Hán và khung cảnh ngôi chùa rất là đẹp.
Thì chúng tôi đang quy hoạch lại cái khu di tích chủ đề phương. Trong quy hoạch thì chúng tôi cũng làm cả quy hoạch vùng gắn với là bảo tồn, xác định là cái chùa Tây Phương là một cái chùa là có rất nhiều cái giá trị về văn hóa nghệ thuật. Thì việc bảo tồn thì không phải bảo tồn riêng bảo tồn cái văn hóa vật thể mà còn vi vật thể nữa.
Thạch Thất District is currently preparing documents for Tây Phương Pagoda to be recognized as a special national relic. As an attractive tourist destination with unique artistic value, the pagoda is a symbol of the Doi people and a place for Buddhist followers to come and rest peacefully.
Hạ Long Bay in Quảng Ninh province has been selected as one of the 12 greatest coastlines in the world by US travel website When on Earth. According to the site, Hạ Long Bay features a rich collection of tropical plants and animals, floating fishing villages, and unique formations of eroded limestone, including multitude of small islands and huge caves. The UNESCO-recognized World Heritage Site has been a well-known coastal destination for tourists in northeastern Vietnam. The 12 greatest coastlines include Lofoten Archipelago in Norway, Napali Beach in Hawaii, Cape Town in South Africa, Algarve in Portugal, and Great Ocean in Australia. Now that's a recap of the most vibrant cultural events of the last week. Now Vietnam is home to an amazing diversity of plants and animals, including many species found nowhere else in the world. One Vietnamese plant has even become a symbol of the Thai ethnic people from mountainous areas and holds significance to them. Let's learn more about that in Culture and Lifestyle segment this week.
Điện Biên in these days. 60 years ago, this land was plagued by bombs. Now Điện Biên has changed, recovered after the war, and become a dynamic province. However, Điện Biên also retains its natural beauty and landscapes with numerous varieties of plant species. Today, let's meet with Lô Văn Đôi, a black Thai, to learn more about Thai culture and a special symbol of them for generations. That symbol derives from a vegetable called phắc cút.
Hôm nay ta sẽ đi tìm hiểu một loại rau, tiếng Thái gọi là phắc cút, một loại rau có nhiều kỷ niệm trong đời sống văn hóa của dân tộc Thái đen.
Phắc cút is a species of fern. The vegetable is extremely hardy. It grows strongly no matter how harsh the weather, even during storms. These strong characteristics were exactly what the Thai's ancestors sought to reflect when choosing phắc cút as a symbol of the people. Phắc cút can be found in every Thai meal. Phắc cút is eaten raw or in phắc cút salad. Now the Thai have to take the symbol along with them wherever they go to recognize relatives. That's how a Thai symbol was born and brought to Thai people's houses on the rooftop. According to the myth, the image of the phắc cút has been visualized at khao cút. Khao cút is made of wood and decorated with flower patterns.
Khâu cút của dân tộc Thái ở Điện Biên đa phần là làm những cái hình tượng như này, những hoa văn này để biểu tượng về cái văn hóa của dòng tộc.
It lies on the rooftop and is made before the construction of a new house. This simple item is a tribute to the friendship and solidarity among the Thai.
Sau khi chúng tôi hoàn thành xong một bộ khâu cút như thế này thì chúng tôi sẽ đưa lên trên nóc nhà, lắp thành hình kéo như thế này. Đó. Đấy. Chúng tôi sẽ lắp lên cố định trên mái nhà hình chéo này, lắp 2 đầu để tượng trưng cho là bản sắc của dân tộc Thái mãi mãi là giữ gìn bản sắc dân tộc. Thứ hai là cầu mong cho mưa thuận gió hòa, làm ăn phát đạt.
Khao khut can be found in every house of Thai people. The more sophisticated the parts in a khao khut are, the richer and more powerful the owner is. After finishing with the khao khut, villagers start dancing to celebrate the new house. That is Thai people's way to create the harmony of a community. That is also what their ancestors wanted to remind them through the symbol of the khao khut. The khao khut is placed on the rooftop at the highest point of the house to remind Thai people of looking ahead. It's been 60 years since the war ended. You can find memories of soldiers in Phak Gut, the Thai's traditional dances, and even in some stories. These memories will be preserved forever, along with the traditional symbols of Thai people.
You're tuning in to Culture Mosaic, a weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of Vietnam and vibrant international cultural events happening around the country. We hope to become the bridge connecting artists and the works with our viewers out there. So don't go away, we have a lot more in this week's installment coming for you in just a moment. As part of the recent Europe Miss Asia in Contemporary Dance event last week in Hanoi, a German choreographer collaborated with Vietnamese dancers to convey the integration between the two continents. Now, his show, Hanoi Stardust, presented a vigorous and vibrant encounter with classical ballet in the context of a dynamic and youthful Vietnamese society. Let's meet the German choreographer Arco Renz in this week's edition of On the Mic.
The 4th Dance Festival Europe Meets Asia in Contemporary Dance took place in Hanoi last week with the theme Creativity Has No Limits. Highlighting this, a German-Vietnamese collaboration choreographed by Arco Renz brought a vigorous and vibrant performance to the Hanoi audience. The German choreographer lives in Belgium and works around the world. The main emphasis of his work is the transcultural cooperations between European and Asian artists. He has worked extensively in Asian countries for many years. Hello Arco, and thank you for being on the show. As someone who has worked in Asia for more than a decade, what brings you to Vietnam this time?
Like always, circumstances. I actually don't plan projects like this ahead. It somehow falls onto the table and we follow. In this case, I was traveling with my friend and collaborator to basically research and meet people, meet artists in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. And at the same time, suddenly the Goethe Institute contacted us and was proposing us to a collaboration with the VNOB. And so we started talking and we continued researching, and slowly, over a period of 1.5 years, the project emerged.
Their performance challenges our perceptions of the language of classical ballet. Hanoi Stardust expands on the drive to be alive and create a relationship between individuality and uniformity. Besides soloists from the Vietnam National Opera Ballet, Renz also collaborated with guest performers Nguyễn Duy Thanh and Vũ Ngọc Khai in his three-part dance piece that amazed and intrigued the local audience. Your show consists of collaborations with classical ballet dancers and hip-hop street dancers. So how do you collaborate such different styles together?
We made 3 different pieces. So one of the choices to approach this difference of background was to create different sections of the performance rather than bringing everybody together. So we have a first part with the street dancer, and the second part with the ballet dancers, and the third part with a performer that is very versatile, that has worked in different dance styles and has integrated, coming from ballet, also contemporary dance, modern dance, and even street dance. So our approach was to give a very clear and, I would say, pure view on each language, and to make each language, to reformulate each language from its own base in a different way, from a different perspective. So we are not aiming at a fusion of things. We are operating a transformation and a reformulation of a different perspective.
Contemporary dance is often seen as too abstract or difficult to understand. Are you concerned with that?
Dance, and contemporary dance in particular, gives this open space to interpretation, but it also demands that we do interpret, that we do invest, and that we do relate to what we see, and that we not just lean back and consume. I think if we don't understand something, it doesn't mean we don't receive it well. I think contemporary dance in general, and this performance as well, is an invitation to look at dance and to look at life in a different way.
Ren's choreographies are characterized by their intense physicality and the emotional movement. The first dance features hip-hop moves to traditional Vietnamese tunes. While the second part of the performance conveys the urgency and pressure we face from busy schedules. Khai wrapped up the show with his dynamic and youthful routine. Hanoi Stardust conveys fragments of dance language to reveal individuality deviations from the norms. Hanoi Stardust is an interesting name for the performance. What does it mean?
Well, Hanoi is because we're in Hanoi. So I was first thinking to just call the piece Hanoi. But then I chose also to integrate Stardust in the title, because it's a word that in English is used a lot in the entertainment industry, in movies, in music. So I wanted to integrate it because it refers to a notion of hope, dream, fame, glory, beauty. And when I met the performers, I felt this title was appropriate because it applies at the same time to where most of these young performers are in their careers. Our oldest performer, I think, is close to 40, and the youngest is 20. So we have 2 generations on stage, and their dreams of dance and their hopes of what is dance are very different. And the word Stardust somehow very loosely and very freely refers to these different dreams of dance.
What messages are you hoping to bring across to the audience in Hanoi?
That's always a very difficult question, to nail down a performance to one message. I think the performance we see, it's up to the audience to appreciate it and to see it the way they want to see it. As an artist, I don't want to tell the audience what they have to think, nor what they have to see. And from the feedback that we received is quite interesting. I heard so many things that I didn't even think about. For example, somebody told me that he sees the past, the present, and the future in each performance, with the music of the classical Vietnamese, the traditional Vietnamese instruments in the first part, and a very slow movement that emerges out of the darkness. In a part with the ballet dancers that have to negotiate their usual ballet dancers with a different kind of energy, into the last part, which is something that we can't really place. It looks like a UFO, the person says. So for her, it was an image of the future, how dance might look in the future. And this I have never thought about when we make this piece, and I'm very happy that you can have this reading of the performance, for example.
Hanoi Stardust won the hearts of local audience with its impressive performances last Friday. Despite having no narration, the performance delivered its message through the language of body movements.
I found it quite impressive, and I'm always quite astonished on how much you can actually say by not using any words, but really only using your body. It's quite, I have to say the dancers were really good. I think they've done a great job.
Ladies in the who did all the moves from classical ballet but transformed it somehow into that contemporary art and contemporary dance moves, and yeah, I really enjoyed every single moment in this performance. It was just great work.
Rens and his dancers received a thunderous applause as they exited the stage. They gave life to the piece and brought contemporary dance closer to the Vietnamese audience.
So do you have plans to come back and work in Vietnam anytime soon?
I will come back in the end of November to prepare the piece for the tour. The tour will take place in Belgium 2 times. So we will have a first tour in the beginning of December and the second time end of January, beginning of February. And so all the performers will join for that tour. I really enjoyed very much working here, and I'm looking forward to be back as soon as possible.
Thank you for your time, and I hope to see more of your work in Vietnam in the coming time.
Our connecting culture this week will bring you to the picturesque hill town of Sapa in the northern mountainous province of Lào Cai, where the first ever Sapa Art Festival is being held. Now, with the participation of 10 artists, including an English painter, a French photographer, and 8 local painters, the festival is shedding new light on the authentic beauty of Sapa's land, people, and its culture. Hoài Lương has the story.
More than 50 pieces of artwork are now on display in the month-long Sapa Art Festival, which started on September the 20th. Most of the pieces, including photos and paintings, depict the picturesque hill town of Sapa.
I think you got loads of extremely talented local artists here itself, and I think this is a good platform to actually showcase the local talents, what they can do itself. Yeah, I think from different backgrounds, you see, from where they come from, and they share the same passion of art, and I think it's beautiful.
This is the central part of the Sapa Art Festival, where all of the artwork out there are going to be showcased until the end of October. This kind of going to be here until late holiday, which means February next year. And all of this artwork here is created by Bridget March with the help of the ethnic children from Macha and Ta Phin villages.
This collection features everyday subjects familiar to the local children, such as the rice bowls, corn, buffaloes, chicken, and other popular flowers in the valleys where they live. The British-born Bridget March took the inspiration to create these paintings from her students at her charity art classes in Macha and Ta Phin villages over the past 4 months. Although she's based in Ho Chi Minh City, Bridget comes to Sapa to work for the Art for Community project to build a sustainable income to fund educational projects in the district. She was also the one to connect artists in Sapa and initiated the idea of organizing this art festival to raise funds to help local artists and communities.
I started to meet all the artists in town, so I thought, well, I should really invite all of the artists to join in. And they all came along, they've all supplied work, they've been really supportive. So now I've got the children and my work and all their work. And it seems to me we've got the beginning of a festival with all of the enthusiasm in Sapa.
Also part of the festival, Sapa-based artists have opened their studios to visitors. Over the last 4 months, Bridget March has visited the studio many times, preparing for the festival. The space belongs to 70-year-old Đặng Tin Tường, who lived in Sapa for 11 years.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Throughout the month-long festival, Local and foreign visitors can stop by this place to ask him about his works and perhaps purchase a favorite painting.
And when I first came, Mr. Tung had a painting of all the seasons. Big painting like this one, you know.
Bài có rất dày công để mà ở đây tìm hiểu và đứng ra tổ chức cái cuộc triển lãm này. Vì vậy không có lý do gì mà chúng tôi là người Việt Nam mà lại không tham gia ở một cái triển lãm này. Triển lãm này mang rất nhiều ý nghĩa nhân văn.
Most artists committed to donating 20% of their proceeds to the Art for Community project. As the first of its kind held in Sapa town, the event has received much help from local authorities.
Tôi đánh giá rất là cao cái ý tưởng của các họa sĩ, bởi vì là thông qua những tác phẩm nghệ thuật của các họa sĩ thì tuyên truyền quảng bá tiềm năng về thế mạnh đất nước con người của Sapa. Thì với cái hoạt động này thì tôi mong rằng là sẽ được tổ chức thường xuyên ở Sapa với quy mô thậm chí còn lớn hơn.
These days, at the Lào Cai Tourist Information and Promotion Center in Sapa town, where the festival is being held, children can find crayons, color pencils, and paper for painting at a special corner dedicated for them. Visitors can create pictures of their own or imitate their displayed artworks by the local and foreign artists who have dedicated a body of work to this beautiful hill town. Hoài Lương, Vietnam Television, Sapa, Lào Cai Province.
I hope that you have enjoyed the show. Now please feel free to contact us at culturemosaic@vtv.vn with any comments and suggestions you may have, or to tell us about any cultural events you've been to with your own videos as well. You can watch repeats of our program online at vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye for now.